Welcome back to Muscle in the Morning. I'm Dave Palumbo, and today is Thursday, April 2nd, 2020. And let's find out what's going on in the world of bodybuilding and fitness. I'm not a big conspiracy theory guy because 99 times out of 100 that stuff turns out to be complete nonsense. But if someone told me right now that there was something in George Peterson's water supply that turned him into a real-life character from the Avengers movies, well, there's a little part of me that might actually believe it. A few days ago, I saw a photo of George that looked like something straight out of a Hollywood set. I've known George a few years now, and this is easily the biggest and leanest that he's ever been. And considering all the crazy stuff that's going on around right now, him having a little bit of extra something in the water doesn't seem like it's all that far-fetched. One of the cool things about aging is that it gives you a historical perspective that you just don't have when you're younger. You can't. You just haven't downloaded enough experience yet. And when you get to be as old as Chris Aceto and Jay Cutler, and you've been bodybuilding for more than 3 decades, well, it has a way of helping to put a lot of things into perspective. Recently, Chris and Jay went on the record to talk about some of the craziness surrounding the 1996 Olympia, some of the iconic athletes from the 90s, and a few other things from Jay Cutler's Olympia runs that were quite fascinating. Chris and Jay are some of the smartest guys in our industry, and they're probably 2 of the most qualified people on the planet to talk about this stuff. So if you have a chance to go back and check out their conversation, please do. I promise you, you won't be disappointed. I don't know how many of you are following the bodybuilding chatter on all these different social media platforms, but if you're not, lately there's been a ton of speculation about whether or not we'll actually have a Mr. Olympia contest this year. This week we all saw all sorts of people weighing in on what they think about the future of bodybuilding is, and to be honest, most of the feedback hasn't been great. So far, the general consensus seems to be that if we have to push the season back to the start of June, the odds are that we probably won't see the greatest spectacle in bodybuilding this year. I beg to differ, but obviously this all depends on a ton of factors that all lie outside of everyone's control. But if you sit back and try to read the tea leaves, the picture isn't looking that pretty. Right now, the world is getting a first-hand look at what the old saying about misery-loving company looks like since we're all quarantined inside our houses. That being said, at least Chris Bumstead and Iain Valliere are finding ways to make the best out of a bad situation. On Monday, Chris and Iain posted videos from one of their home gym sessions where it seems like they're both managing to get by on what they've got. With gyms closed all over the place, being able to get in quality training sessions with other world-class athletes from your basement feels like a gigantic win all the way around. So hopefully if we do end up having a season, these 2 will be in a small handful of athletes who come out ready to go on the other side. I know somewhere out there in the world, there are a ton of doomsday predictors staring out their windows, just waiting for the zombie apocalypse to get started. So on the off chance that you aren't someone who's been stockpiling an arsenal in your basement, maybe you should try to get yourself somewhere near Kirill Khudaiev. Kirill looks like a one-man army right now. He's bigger, fuller, and leaner than I can remember seeing him at any other point in his career. And to me, he looks like a guy who could be an X Factor at some point down the road this year. In the past, we've seen Kirill hold his own with some of the most talented athletes in the division. So it wouldn't come as a huge shock if he managed to start working his way up the ladder and impressed a lot of people along the way. And that does it for yet another edition of Muscle in the Morning. I'm Dave Palumbo, reminding you to always be true to your passions. And make sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.